Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist here. Thank you for joining me. Today's topic, why do we repeat things constantly? Now, there's a reason why I put the word in constantly, but first, let me know where you're from if you're watching live or if you're watching on a replay and where you are in the world. That would be super awesome. Thank you so much. So, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. I'm here to unravel a few things that are going on in your mind and to give you some insights and some tips on how to understand yourself and how to get out of situations. I think that's new. There you go. So, why do we repeat things constantly? So, when I talked about this with somebody else and I said, why do we repeat things? And they said, why do you need to put in the word constantly? And I was like, because there's repeating things and then there's constantly repeating things. And you know there's things that we repeat, this, and this, yes, but then there's constantly repeating things. So when I mean this, I'm meaning, if I think about it, I'm meaning relationships, so which are intimate or friendship, any jobs you do that you're repeating things constantly. There's tasks that you do constantly. And when I think about that, I had the giggles because I was thinking of brushing your teeth. Now, that's something you obviously repeat, brushing your teeth. Well, I'd like to think you do it daily. It's up to you, but I know I do mine more than once a day. But we repeat it. We repeat the same pattern of how we brush our teeth. And we do it constantly. And that's a constantly one is how much we repeat, and you do it without even thinking. But there's also driving. If you're going to the same destination, so maybe you're going to work, or maybe you're going to drop the kids at school, or maybe you're going to your favorite shop or your cafe or wherever you're going, or your family and friends, you drive the same way each time. And so that's what I'm talking about constantly. So it's actually where you do things, we definitely repeat, but we actually do them constantly. So the reason, what's the reason why we do them is routine. Everybody likes some sort of structure or routine or simplicity in our life. So we do them for those reasons. We also do it because it's easy. We don't have to think. We go, okay, I'm going from A to B. I'm going from home to the supermarket. I'm going to go the same way each time. Because our brain doesn't have to think of the way we go. It's like our car automatically knows. That's clearly if you're going in the car. The car automatically knows how to get there. So it's something that's like an ease. It's ease. You don't have to think. We also do things because we're bored. So we repeat them because we're bored because, like I said, we don't have to think why we're repeating it, why we're doing it. So as I'm talking about this, I would love you to think about those things that you are repeating constantly. You can put them in the chat if you'd like. But the things that you're repeating constantly that you can go, oh, I do that. I do that without thinking. I do that this way. So I think I said simplicity. Simplicity is definitely one. We do it because it's just so simple. And when I think about this, it's where our mind can shut down and we can think about other things. But there's also another one that comes into play, and it feels like you're in control. And that's an interesting one. Why do we repeat things? Because it feels like we're in control. So you may make your children's or make sandwiches, and you spread the bread the same way. You hold the knife the same way. Now, I'm not saying change this, just for the record, but that's the same thing you do because you feel like you're in control and you're doing something that is so easy and simple for you that you don't even notice you're doing it. So have a think about those things that you feel like you're in control of. There's also another reason why we repeat things constantly. It's because it works. It works. It works. So we just go, oh, this works. So why would I want to change it? Don't need to change it. I'm just going to keep doing it this way. It works. And that's a really important one because when things are working, it's not wise to change them unless you're getting complacent, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. That's the only reason you're going to change things. But there's also another reason why we repeat things. Have you thought about this one? And that's because the lessons haven't been learned. So you may be, and when I think about that, I think about relationships, even with your new boss. You've gone into a job, you thought you'd leave your old job, you've gone into a new job, and you seem to be getting the same stuff that's happening over and over. Those lessons that keep repeating, and they just keep repeating, like that person's undervaluing me, or I'm not doing this, or that person's talking behind my back, or I'm not getting the pay rise and everyone else is getting the pay rise. That's why I left my last job. Whatever that stuff is, it means your lessons haven't been learned. So when you think about relationships, we've also got our intimate relationships, our social relationships, and our business relationships. You can also relate it to when when your stuff is getting burnt, you feel like you're getting burnt. So you're out of fair exchange, or they're out of fair exchange, and you get a little bit frustrated with it. That's when you talk about those lessons haven't been learned. There's also another one that sits in there. I wonder if you can guess this one. Okay. It starts with G. It's gratitude. It's when you're out of gratitude. That's why our lessons haven't been learnt, because we're sitting out of gratitude. We sit in more frustration or negativity or downward to what's actually going on around us. So that's the reasons why we repeat things, and we repeat them over and over and over again. Often people go, people say to me, oh, I'm in the same relationship I've been in. I've had the same 3 partners, and all 3 partners have done the same thing to me. And I'm like, okay, so what did you learn in that very first relationship? Well, I didn't need to learn. I just know that, they're not for me and the next person was, but I can't understand why that, and the story just gets unraveled to an escalating state that's crazy. So that's because those lessons haven't been learned. That lesson hasn't been learned in the first relationship. So when you go to the next relationship, the next level of chaos hits, which is a little bit bigger. And then you go to the third relationship, and that chaos is no longer this or this. It's actually sitting at this. And this is because our lessons haven't been learned. And I talked about out of gratitude. That's a great one to shift those lessons, as find gratitude in that situation. So if you are content, and I'm going to say the word content, or okay with things the way they're going, if you're okay with the relationships that you've got right now, the treatment at work that's going on, the colleagues around you, whatever, if everything's honky-dory, I don't know where honky-dory came from. If everything's happy as Larry, or whatever we want to call it, if you're okay with it, do not change it. Do not change it, because you do not want to fix something that isn't broken. It's if you have a desire to change it, or to add some spice or something into your world, then do things differently. Absolutely do things differently. But if you don't want to change anything and things are working, don't. Just leave them the way they are and carry on. You do not have to change things. I'm going to, have I made this myself clear? You do not have to change things to what's happening right now around you. If you're okay with it, that's fine. You only want to change if you feel icky about what's happening in the situation. So when you go to change things, if you are going to change, if you have that desire to change, you must start small. And I'm not talking about do 10 new things a day, change this, and there's 10 things that happen. When I was an executive assistant to the CEO of the District Health Board, listen to those letters. I came into an organisation and I wanted to change so much, and I had 5 changes a day ready until the CEO pulled me aside and said, Deborah, you've got to back up. You've got to go right back. You can only do 1 change a month. I was like, oh, no, I can see hundreds of things I want to change. I want to change them now. And he said, you can only do 1 change a month, because people don't work at the pace you're working, and we want to make sure we've got them in, it's implemented, it's done the right way before you go into your next one. Now, I still didn't like the 1 change a month. So if you want to do 1 change a month, do that. If you don't, do it a little bit more, cut that time frame down. But I do not encourage you to change 10 things a day, because the people around you will go, well, what's happened? Is she having a breakdown? Is he having a breakdown? What's going on? Are they taking drugs? Are they taking it? What's going on? This is not you. This is not you, Deborah. This is not you. This is not you. It's like, it is me. It's a new me. Forget that stuff. Just do little changes if you'd like them to change. So, if you'd like to change something, here's what you do. You list it. And when I say list, you L-I-S-T, you list what you'd like to change and get clear. So write it down. When I think about that, you must write it down of what you would like to change. Don't just go, oh, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change this. Get it out of your head, because the sooner you can do pen to paper is incredibly significant. Pen to paper, write it down, look at what it is, okay? Then go, is it valuable to change? Is it really necessary? Do I want to change it? Is there going to be value in changing? Is there going to be frustration in changing? So have a look. So is it necessary? If you find you're disgruntled with that change, like maybe colleagues get pay increases and you don't, maybe people get picked for things and you don't, whatever's going on for you, look at that value to you, find that gratitude. I know I talked about outer gratitude before. Find that gratitude to you of that stuff happening. Because when you're in this chaotic space and you're really frazzled and you're like this, nothing's going to shift. So you've got to let that stuff go. You've got to release the tension in your jaw, your neck, your body. You've got to relax. You've got to do that. The only way to do that and let that go is find gratitude, because it sits differently in your heart. So maybe you want to change the dynamics at work because your boss goes to your colleague and doesn't go to you and ask you for things, and you want them to come to you. So find that gratitude of your boss going to your colleague and not coming to you. When you list enough gratitudes, and you can start with 5, you can do 10, you can do 20, you can do 30, you can do 50, you can do 100, whatever it takes. When you find enough gratitude, you'll feel it in your heart will go, oh, you're not going to be driven by that anymore. So that will then shift your brain to go into another level of inspiration. So if it's necessary and you'd like to change it, look at that value of you being disgruntled. Then you're going to write down how to change it. How are you going to change it? So if it's something going on, how are you going to change it? If you sit in that clicky frustration stage, you're not going to see anything. You must find the gratitude in it. Once you've found the gratitude, it's going to be opened up. Your mind is going to open up to another level of awareness that you can actually go, how do I change this? And the answers are going to come to you. So how do you change it? Then you know what you're going to do. Change it. You're going to change it. Once you've changed it, you're going to be aware that you're going to change it because you want to change it. You want to change it, not because someone else has said change. That's really important, unless you think it's necessary. If someone else has told you, you need to change this, you need to do this, you need to do this, I don't really respond that well with that. So if you're going to change it, it has to be coming from you within here to change. So once you've done that, then you're going to change. Yet again, I'm going to say it again. Then you're going to change it. It's as simple as that. We don't have to get our head clogged, and we don't have to spend all this time into whatever it is. We can easily do this. The more you sit in here, the more you're going to go around and you're not going to get resolution to anything. So pen to paper, what is it? And get it done. Or not. So here's a few things I put together. I was thinking about what will we change. So one of the things I randomly do if I'm in a different headspace is I clearly clean my teeth. One of the things I do is I change to my other hand. Have you ever tried to clean your teeth with your other hand? Now, if you're right-handed and you go to clean your teeth with your left hand, it's really difficult. It is difficult until you get to master it. So it's just a little quirky thing. There's one thing you can change. Start your day. Another one you can change is you can sleep on the other side of the bed. But you've got to be aware, if you've got a partner, you have to get them on board with that. But also you've got to let your children know, because if your children don't know and they go to your side of the bed to talk to you and not your partner, then there's going to be a problem, because they're going to go, whoa, that's someone different who I talk to each time. So you've got to get everyone else on board with that one. There's different things you can do. If you're bored, like what are the exercises you can do? Is there dance lessons, rock and roll lessons, anything like that you want to do? Go do that stuff. Another one I love is talking to people. And when I say talking to people, I'm talking about the supermarket, absolutely. But I'm also saying talk to people and ask them what's going on in their world. How are you? What's really going on to your friends and family? And listen. Now, if you feel there's some out of gratitude stuff, share that with them. Say, I'm hearing that you're a little bit out of gratitude. Is there anything you can do to shift that? You just have to speak very carefully on that one, though, because they may take you as an entitled person. So when you think about that, hold them accountable to their stuff, because you're going to be accountable to your stuff from now on. Why not hold them accountable? I hear you say this. You've said this every time we've met up for the last 4 weeks. When's it time for you to change that? They're just little things that you can say to them, because sometimes people don't know what's going on. So hold them accountable. And if they fire something back at you or say something back to you, that's okay as well. You don't have to take that on board. You maybe want to take 60% of their stuff on board and throw away the other 40%. That's perfectly fine. That is up to you. So hold people accountable, change things, do random stuff. Let us know here what you're going to change, because I'd love to know what you're going to change today. Fabulous. That's all I'm going to say. That's me over and out. Thank you for joining Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. I will see you next week. Thank you. Oh, there's sun there happening. Yeah, you've got sun. Thanks.